Hello, everyone. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, but I felt like it was really important to underscore how much I appreciate our collaborators, colleagues that join us from the African continent. We have 3 different countries represented now, which is exciting. Um, I just want to encourage everyone to really open their hearts and share culturally, be patient with each other. This is such a learning opportunity. It's so important for our program, which is a worldwide cultural program, to include everyone. Um, and so we're all here in the spirit of goodwill. And I really appreciate our collaborators who do so much with so little and have such great intentions. So let's please support them. Um, and with that, I'm excited to welcome Fabi. Fabi, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Fabi Diallo. I am a mother of a child with autism, diagnosed at 2 years old, and now he's 11. I am also the director of Lab Academy in Guinea, and we have about 17 kids that we take care of, and a team of 10 educators. And we are a French-speaking country. So services are not very available to everyone, especially in French countries. So we are trying to do our best to serve, the population that know about autism, because we have to raise awareness about it. There's a lot of stigma, and we are also trying to go on public television and run campaigns to raise awareness about autism. But it's not known in Guinea, not as much as here in the US. So I am a member of a group, an African group of providers and owners of centers in Africa. And I recently ran a survey to assess the services in Africa. So today I'm trying to basically give you an overview of the services from, a perspective of the answers and these people that are members in the group, and also highlighting a little bit on what we experience in Guinea, if that's okay. So whenever you guys are ready, we can get started. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Okay. So in Africa, and especially in Guinea, autism is underdiagnosed, and many rural areas are not even aware about autism. So most of the time, they think it's something that needs to be healed, and they try to use traditional medicine to help with autism. So we are working on raising awareness about diagnosis of autism in the capital, Conakry, and rural areas as well. So the objective today was to highlight autism services in Guinea within the wider African context. So the survey involved 138 members, and Africa has 54 countries. 26 countries were represented in the answers I received on the survey. And the strongest responses were from Nigeria, from Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt. And most of these countries are English-speaking countries, not French-speaking countries, and Guinea is a French-speaking country. So we were able to collect a total of 61 answers out of the 138 members. So to the question of public awareness, only 2 of the 26 countries said that they were very aware about autism. Most African countries report low awareness when it comes to public awareness. When it comes to stigma and cultural perception, it was averaging 3 out of 4, and 4 being the highest stigma rate. So it was averaging 3 in the responses we received. And Guinea shows similar patterns. As far as media campaigns, we only had like 2 countries reporting running campaigns. Most of the countries do not run awareness campaigns in media. As far as diagnostic services goes, we had 24 responses saying that it's non-existent or very limited. So we are, in Guinea, we have 2, one pediatric center that does diagnostic services, and the lab, our center, that offer reliable diagnostic services. Other than that, it's non-existent. The typical age of diagnosis usually is between 3 and 5 years. And it's important to note that when autism is not on the severe end, usually people do not notice even to take the child to the pediatrician. So this age represents kids that are very on the very severe end of autism, and when it's very visible. So 3 to 5 years is the answer that we received from the survey. And that's the same for Guinea. We follow the same pattern. And I have seen children even at 11 years old that are not diagnosed with autism that come to our center. They do not have a diagnosis. So it's the same in Guinea. As far as autism services availability in Africa in general, from the survey, we have more speech therapy available. Okay, that's what we saw. And then after that, we have special education centers or autism centers. That's what they call themselves. And we have occupational therapy. ABA services are very limited, and we do not have a lot of behavior services available to children. And Guinea lacks most of these. Our center is the only center offering autism services in Guinea. It's the first one. Now, accessibility to services. We received 27 responses rating no accessible services to diagnosis, to treatment, anything. So in Guinea, families often, they travel abroad to receive services or to receive an official diagnosis. And these are the families that do have means to go outside. The majority do not have access to any service. So when it comes to autism services, usually they just go to the pediatrician when it's very difficult cases, and they try to use traditional medicine at home, thinking that it's an illness that they have to treat. Now, services are available in urban areas, but it's private options. So most of the centers that are in the urban area usually charge for the services because it's expensive. Usually it's one-on-one with the kid and they are understaffed. And these are owned by private people. In the rural area, they have none. No one is going outside because of other issues, a lack of electricity, lack of water. The roads are not well done to even reach some of these areas. So the challenges are enormous when it comes to providing services outside the urban areas. Now, schools in Guinea and from the majority of the countries that participated to the survey, the inclusion is not there. We are not we have to do some work in this area. We do not have trained professionals in the school system to help the children thrive and reach the full potential. And they do not know how to basically teach these kids. So most of the time, the kids are home and they do not attend schools. When it comes to severe cases of autism, when they cannot have them inside the school, they just ask parents to keep them home. So inclusion is something that we have to work on, definitely. And so we need more trained teachers, more trained aides, therapists in Guinea and in some of these countries in Africa. Okay. Special education is not a field in in the programs at the university that we have in Guinea. So it's not included. We have education, but we do not have special education. So it's something that needs to be created. And we are currently trying to collaborate with the government to see if that's something feasible and how to include it. But it's non-existent currently when it comes to studying special education. Now, as far as inclusive education laws, we do not have a specific law to autism. They have laws for mental health, mental illness, and handicap, but they do not have something specific to autism. So we are trying to raise awareness and educate and advocate for autism-specific legislation and creating laws that are specific autistic voices and autistic people in Guinea. So the protection is not there. We do not have like if I don't know, a legal framework that is there to guide or to protect the autistic population in Guinea. And we are trying to work with the ministry right now to have at least, a department in that ministry that will defend and protect the autistic population. Now, as far as government support, right now, looks like across Africa, 28 responses said that only private services exist. So the government is not involved to the autism services, like the services that exist. They are not creating services also. So we are just starting advocating and working with them to put together laws that will allow families to be covered under insurance. Insurance is inexistent in Guinea and completely inexistent in most countries in Africa. So families pay out of pocket when they can. Some of these families do not even have money for transportation to arrive at the center, where we provide sometimes free services. So even for free services, they cannot come to the center because they do not have the means to get there, or even for food. So it's very difficult. It's challenging for the families to get services. So now, when it comes to enforcement of rights, I know we have raised awareness about the lack of services being a human right issue in Guinea, and we are trying to collaborate with the government in that sense. But it's very, the enforcement is not there. Even if we get to the point where we have laws that are voted, we need the enforcement to be stronger. And right now, that's an issue, even for other laws that are already voted at the human rights level. So we are trying to work with the government to see how we can enforce the laws that we are trying to advocate for currently, and who will be enforcing these laws, and following through with the different laws that we want them to implement, basically. Now, for the healthcare system, because it's all related, we are working with the government as well, the Ministry of Health, to train pediatricians and psychologists to diagnose autism, because we do not have trained medical people to serve this specific population. And I think it's the same for many countries. I had 28 answers here that only private services, like private clinics, are taking the training when there is a training available. And these are the ones providing services. So the healthcare system, like the public one, is not ready to provide the services we are trying to advocate for. And obviously, we do not have speech therapists, we do not have occupational therapists, no behavior therapists, and that's across Africa. The issue is the same everywhere. So only 15 responses from the survey said that ABA was available in the country, and I assume probably in Nigeria, in Egypt, I have seen some, in Ghana, in South Africa, and these are the countries that I have seen ABA available on the survey. In Guinea, we only have the center at the Lab Academy that offers ABA services. So as far as providing medical services, like the doctors, the nurses, and also the teachers, they are not trained to work with the autistic population. They do not know how to help when it comes to an autistic kid who is sick, and they do not understand the diagnosis. So we are trying to work with a team of pediatricians, a team of just people working in the medical field, nurses, and also in the education domain, so the education field in schools, to give more training and raise more awareness on how to work with these kids, and also collaborate with hotels and other organizations to include adults, because it's not only the kids, it's also adults that are home. They are not going anywhere. They are just, not included at all, and trying to train these groups and raise awareness about autism, and work with them in a way that they can be more inclusive when it comes to working with the autistic population. Okay. Now, the challenges we have received in the comments of the survey, we had diagnosis access. That was the highest challenge. The stigma, so people attributing autism to something else, is very, very high right now. Education is, we have poor education about autism, so we have to do a lot in this area, and the lack of services available. Even if we do have access to diagnosis, we do not have services to help the population. So in Guinea, we have, as I told you, very few diagnostic center. We opened our center in January this year. We served remotely for 2 years before opening the center. And before that, we only had one pediatric center that does diagnostic services. There's very low awareness, weak laws, and very limited services. Okay. Now, as far as raising awareness, we try to do campaigns in local languages. So we have different languages in Guinea, and not everyone speaks French because it's a French colony. Um, so we try to reach the people in local languages. We also try to develop training material that we translate in French for the staff and for educators, for parents. We are trying to do autism screening training for diagnosis and work with developmental and pediatric psychologists outside the country, but that are willing to work with us, even remotely, to help with diagnosing the kids that we have there. And we are pushing for more inclusive education laws and training more people in the public school system so they can receive more people. Because even if we want to take everyone, we are limited in space and in staff at the center. So we have our strategy right now is to try to train people that are already working with kids in the school system to identify kids that need help and to help them in their setting there, so we don't have to get everyone coming to the center. And at the African level is just trying to collaborate with other members in Africa, like I did for the survey. We are 138 members. So we are trying to all work together to collaborate and raise awareness across Africa. So that's what's happening right now. And we are trying to collaborate with the government as well. And that's what we are doing currently for a more inclusive society in Guinea. All right, I am done. If you have questions, I'm available. I think someone raised the hand somewhere. Can you hear me? See me?
Yes, I had written some questions in the chat. You
Okay.
inspired me so much. I had lots of questions. So feel free to ask me to repeat any of them.
Yeah.
What, if any, awareness is there of low support needs autistic people? Is my first question. Here in the States, we are often the people who are using our insights to make real changes in more positive views of autism as a way of being and bring insights into new strategies for support and services. Have any autistic people in Guinea or other African countries talked to you about these kinds of things? That's the first question.
Okay, so in Guinea right now, the state of autism is, we are at the beginning stages of having a discussion about even autism, even labeling the autism as a word. People do not know what it is. Currently, we are really at the beginning stages where families are reaching out when they recognize signs that we publicly try um, to publish in social media or maybe on television, because everyone watches at least, the television for news. So when they see signs that we describe, especially in local languages, they reach out, they say, oh, okay, I have a child here and he's displaying these signs. Can I come to you so you can tell me if that's what it is? But other than that, I don't think people know what it is. So they do not really, so I'm just talking about even positive ways or advocating for themselves. There are no one, is coming to us voicing about a way of doing things right now. That's not where we are currently as far as, the conversation right now. Right now, it's just like the first steps, like, oh, I identify my son, my daughter has the signs, I'm coming to you. So maybe you can tell me if it is autism or not, because I don't know right now. Okay, I attribute this to an illness. Someone else told me this, someone told me that. So I just want to make sure that's what she or he has first. So that's the beginning of the conversation. And some come to us as just, a respite center. They are tired. They have a kid at home. They are not able to go to work. They are caring for this kid almost 24/7. The kid is not sleeping, not eating all the food they are offering. So they are coming to us to say, help me. I just don't know what to do. I don't know where to take him. And I just need I need help right now. So that's the current state of things.
Yeah, I think that's really good for people to know, because here in the States, I think there's a misconception that you have more resources than you do. And so that said, uh, what can the global autistic population, what can we do, if anything, to help in a positive way?
I think right now it's just, you have been doing a lot as far as pushing the conversation about what autism is, and advocating for autistic voices, and advocating for different type of services. And I know it's just, there is a big gap between, the US and even Europe is very different, and let alone Africa, where it's non-existent completely. We are really at the beginning stages of talking about autism. But these countries, specifically Guinea, is a French country. So even if we wanna just talk about what autism is, we have to translate in French. We have to adjust to the cultural belief to the population there. We have to reach them where they are, and we have to acknowledge what they believe in, and not just reject what they already have that's working. Because sometimes, even though we do not have like medical, traditional medicine that's documented scientifically like here, sometimes they have herbal teas, they have other um, traditional medicine that they use that's working for them. So we have to still see what's working for them, as long as it's not harmful and it's not, uh, abusive, uh, I mean, treatments that they are using. So we try to basically just meet them where they are, respect the culture, respect their belief, and lend a helping hand, and tell them that we understand somewhere what they are experiencing, and we are here to help in the best way that we can.
Great, thank you. And I hope that if there's any culturally sensitive way that any of us can help in this program, you'll call on us.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other question?
Has her hand up. Would you like to say something? Yes. Hi. Thank you for a really great presentation. So, my question is, so I am also an autism researcher, currently doing my PhD. However, my research is focusing mainly on the Caribbean. So I feel like there are parallels in terms of um, the feedback you've gotten on your projects and stuff. So I just wanted to know, in your experience, how do you all go about in terms of having like measures and assessments that are considered like culturally relevant? Is it that you're using measures or assessments from, for example, the US and kind of just adapting as you go along? What was that process in terms of getting like prevalence rates and assessing that?
Yes. So far, what we have been doing is to use, scientifically proven standard assessments and adapt them to the culture, of course. So when it comes to assessing, so we do first a screening. So we use the MChat usually to screen. And then if there's a high risk um, of autism, then in that case, we just refer the child to a psychologist we are working with currently, who's a French psychologist. And she's the one who remotely will be observing the child, asking the questions to the parents, asking the questions to the educators working with the kid. And we have cameras to observe the child remotely, so she can do that. And we try to, as much as possible, to adapt the questions that she's asking to the reality of the families there. So if eye contact, for example, is something that culturally is not adapted for them, then we will not consider that question relevant in the assessment. So when she's asking about things like, I don't know, labeling something like an airplane, if the kid is not familiar with seeing an airplane in their environment, then we just try to change that question with something else that they are familiar with. So basically, I try to just, I attend every assessment. Even though I'm a BCBA, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm there for translation and also ensuring that it fits culturally to the beliefs and the culture of the families that we are working with. So that's how we have been processing assessments and treatments. It's the same thing. We try to adapt the songs that we use for the kids to make it fun, and we try to create our own material that is really culturally adapted to the kids and the environment. And we even try to do treatment in local languages, so not only in French. We try to speak to them in the language that they understand, because that's not, the goal is not to change the language that they speak at home, is to basically just reach them where they are and understand them and try to learn from them and uh, teach them in a way that is going to be helpful for them to function in the society in their own way, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mm. Any other question? No.
There were
There's a
quite a
couple of
few.
questions. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, there's a
sorry.
couple, I think, in the chat that would
Mm.
like to be read out loud. So I'll start with sort of most recent and then going back here. All right, hold on, it's changing. All right. What would be a good way for your community to get training, and who needs training first?
So currently training will be for educators, I will say. So because they are the first one involved when it comes to identifying the kids. Most of the time, families do not go, not like here, they do not go to the pediatrician as often as here. So here, the first line is pediatricians. They will notice first because the kid is not missing the milestones, and parents are going to the pediatrician before 2 years old. In Guinea, that's not the case. Once the kid is okay, the kid is not sick, they will not go to the pediatrician. So the first people involved when it comes to identifying a child with autism are the educators. So it's maybe educating first the educators, the teachers, to identify the needs of these kids and be able to refer these kids for assessment if it's needed, and be able to help these kids learn. So know how to teach these kids, that's where the need is. And I always tell parents, knowing the diagnosis is just one piece of information. If we are not able to help them, that's very challenging for families and for everyone, because they will be excluded from the society. They will be at home. They will not have the life that they deserve to have. They deserve to be included. They deserve to have their own reach their full potential. They are very, some of these kids that I've seen are very, very smart when they are supported in the right way. So just trying to train educators will be the first thing I will do, just to be able to help the kids.
Is the problem with getting training a funding issue? Is it a time issue, or is it a getting people to do the training issue?
All of the above. All of the above. Yeah, it's just having trained people to train them. That's number one. Number two is having the material available to them in the language that they understand. So translation cost money, and also education cost money. And the reality on the ground is really, really different, because we have classes of 120 kids per class. So these educators are very overwhelmed, very, they are tired at the end of the day, and they are managing big classrooms, very big classrooms, and just God bless them, because it's not easy to work with all these kids, and most of the time they have their own challenges as educators to get the results expected from them, to help all these kids pass the class, because every year it's a little bit different here, but every year they have exams to take, and these kids have to pass the classes, and if they fail, it's not the educators are not happy. It's like they didn't do their job helping the kids. So having a child with special needs on top of that in that classroom setting is very, very challenging for them. So they need the training. They need the training. They need more people. They need aides in the classroom, which they do not have. We have one teacher per 100 and something kids. So yes, it's all of the above. You just hit everything.
Thank you. my issue is always, I'm willing to go anywhere and do any training. I just don't have any money because I work in a helping profession. So I just need somebody to put me on a plane and fly me around, and I'm willing to do the training. However, what you said, and I'm going to stop after that, was sort of struck me in terms of not just in Guinea, but I feel like the culture everywhere around the world in focusing on school success. Like, we have got to stop looking at testing as success. It's ruining everyone's culture. Like, people can do things without being excellent students or even being a good student. That doesn't mean you don't have value. And I think that the pressure on parents everywhere, but specifically in other countries where education is limited and not accessible, but it's not fair. It's just not fair. So I'm going to mute myself. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Great. And I think you had your hand up for a while. Are you still there?
Yes, yes, I am. I had a quick question. Excuse me. I had a quick question. What do you think about, especially with the lack of specialists? And I mean, we all know what the situation is in Africa. It varies from country to country, but overall, it's similar. So I know for CHIP, for example, and for some other places, there's a move towards more um, like play intervention, more relational intervention, something which is a bit more natural, if you wish, and doesn't require as much training, but which still works. What do you think of that? In the sense that, because that then requires less, obviously it does require training, but it's less one-on-one, it's less specialist, and might be more effective. So what's just your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's always a way to simplify the training that we provide. There's, we can always find a way to just summarize and give what's essential to just, to at least, provide at 80%, support to these children. But the problem is not that simplified version, is more of a supervision of the work. It's good to give that training, but you have to ensure that they are, carrying through the training, and they are implementing with fidelity somehow what you are doing. So it's just having qualified people. It can be maybe 5 or 10 qualified people that can be able to supervise, the other people that you train. So the training, even though you have, a way to simplify it, you need someone to ensure that, they are not harming the kids, and they are doing it in a, they are providing quality, keeping the quality at least, at the same level. Even though it's a simplified version. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. There's another question here. It says, how does poverty impair autistic needs for neurologically and sensory, quote, safe, unquote, foods?
I can elaborate on that if you'd like me to. Can you hear me? So what I'm wondering is, from my upbringing in Southern Africa, I am aware that traditionally the food choices have been far more culturally influenced in like typically always eating corn or mealy based rice, and we just have so much in the US. We have so much more choices, and that's both beneficial and disadvantageous. But if I'm trying to envision if a child were struggling to eat a food that is very common in the culture and or in the locale, and there's not much else available. I'm just trying to imagine what that might be like.
Well, we have found that most of the time they will try to solve the issue. They'll try to find an alternative. Usually they try different choices. We do not have a lot of variety of food, but they will find something that the kid likes most of the time. And yes, it's not always very practical to find food, I mean, a variety of food like here in the US, but they will always find a substitute. So they'll find a way to adjust and solve the issue. Yeah.
So, Fabi, if you don't mind, I'd love to add to that because I have been going back and forth in the chat. I really quick, I had the wonderful privilege of going to Ghana to do some training, and everyone in America said, "Oh my gosh, I bet autistic kids in Africa are not picky eaters because, you know, everyone's starving in Africa." So I came back, that stereotypical idea. So I remember coming back and I said, yes, children in Africa who are autistic still only eat their sensory safe foods. Now, maybe there's only 11 foods to choose from, but they will eat the 2 sensory safe foods that are available out of those 11 foods, like every kid who is autistic around the world. So it's really interesting how we think about those things because we're used to set lots of food choices, but it's still the same. Autism is autism no matter where you live, and the challenges just look different based on your culture and your resources. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to mute again. I'm so sorry.
Great. Let me read another question here.
I just want to jump in really quick,
Sure.
and I know Fabi has to go to the other meeting, and I don't know how much time she needs to get there. So I just wanted to say really quick, thank you so much. We have so much to learn from you, and just go when you need to. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. So here's the question I'm going to read in the chat. It says, autistic people are sharing widely in the West that ABA is actually damaging despite good intentions, taking into account that there are virtually no services of any kind in place. Do you have any thoughts about opportunities to build something really different from basic ABA services? Parenthetically, I realized that resources are virtually non-existent, just leaning towards optimism. Thank you for the work for the autism community.
Well, I think it's time for me to leave. No, I'm kidding. Although I'm a BCBA and I am in the field of ABA, I am first a trained educator. I am trained in special education. And I became an ABA by necessity, okay? So my child was diagnosed autism level 3. I don't know if those levels still exist on the spectrum, but level 3, and with a lot of self-injurious and very intense behaviors. We had to figure out how to functionally replace those behaviors without changing his sensory needs, his basic needs, because we did understand that humming and jumping and running around served a function for him, a regulation function. So we had to find something similar. So for example, when he was doing the very vocal and very annoying to people. And I was not ashamed of it. It's annoying to people, not to us. We did accept him the way he was, and we used that vocal stereotypical behavior to find songs, because he did love songs, to use a replacement. So through songs, we try to teach him the ABCs, we try to teach him other things that he was really happy to learn. But we really encourage that behavior of regulation that he had, that's just, having those vocal sounds. It was, I mean, made him feel good. And that's what I always try to tell people. It's not because people use a therapy in a harmful way because of bad training, or maybe not using, how can I call that, ethical ways to implement that therapy, that everyone is that way. So I will just maybe try to leave that debate to someone else. They will maybe come back and talk about therapies, a lot of therapies that are maybe some are more appropriate than others to help children with autism. But yeah, we have found positive ways to use all kind of therapies. We have speech therapy, we have occupational therapy, we have ABA therapy at our center, we have special education, we have psychologists. So we are a multidisciplinary team, and we have found, a good way to collaborate and work on the goals that we want for each child to meet and achieve, and to help these kids live a happy life, not just, trying to tell them who they are, what to do. We are trying to learn from them. So it has been a learning journey for me, and I am a lifelong learner, and I'm still, very happy whenever I see a kid and someone comes to me and say, oh, he has these challenges and those challenges. I'm like, I don't see these as challenges. I'm really, really curious about this kid. I wanna know this kid. I wanna know what they like. I want to know, I want to discover this child. So it's more from a place of curiosity that I always approach any kid referred to the center. So yes, I am aware of things that ABA did in the past. I am aware of things, I mean, the controversial discussion about ABA therapy, but I am not someone who's implementing, harmful practices with the kids, and I'm very aware of what's happening around me. And whatever we do at the center, if it's not good for my own child, I'm not doing it to other kids. So that's the base. I always say, if I do not have one child in the center and the only client is my son, I'm happy with that. We build things in a way that we make sure that any kid come, and they come running to the center. I have never seen like a kid not happy to come to the center. And I always tell the educators that we have, the therapists that are there, that should be a sign to you. If a kid is crying and want to stay away from us and he doesn't want to enter in the center, that should be a sign that we are not doing something correctly. So we have to find out what he doesn't like, and what we are doing wrong and what we should change. But we have to make sure that this kid is happy wherever he is, at home, at school, and here when he comes to the center. So yeah, basically, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I hope that when that discussion comes in Africa, when we are at that level where autistic voices will emerge in Africa, then we will have, you know, autistic voices that are African, that take into account our culture, and that will advocate from a place of knowing and not just hearing what's harmful and being against something without even experiencing what it is.
I love you so much. Please come back.
Thank you. All right. See you soon.
Wonderful.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, everybody. And
Thank you for
everybody
having
have a
me.
good day.
All right. Thank you. Bye.